The story of Hardwick Hall begins with a woman named Bess of Hardwick, one of the most remarkable women of her time. Even Queen Elizabeth said of her, "There is no lady in this land that I better love or like." Praise indeed. So who was Bess of Hardwick? Okay, she was born Elizabeth Hardwick around 1527 and known as Bess, like a kind of friendly nickname. Her family owned a few hundred acres of land, so whilst she wasn't from a really wealthy family, she had a comfortable upbringing. She was what you might call lower gentry, but she rose to become one of the wealthiest and most politically connected women in England, mainly as a result of her ambition, her charismatic personality, her very shrewd business brain, and a series of advantageous marriages. She married 4 times in total, and with each marriage, her social status climbed, and when each husband died, her personal fortune increased. I won't dwell on each of her husbands. Let's make this about Bess, but I need to mention her 4th husband, George Talbot, the Earl of Shrewsbury. So this marriage is the one that catapults Bess into the upper echelons of society. This makes her part of one of the oldest and richest families in England, and she's mixing with the likes of William Cecil and Robert Dudley and Sir Francis Walsingham. And her husband, the Earl of Shrewsbury, owns masses of farmland and coal mines and glassworks and iron foundries and ships. And when he dies in 1590, this is what Bess inherits, a fortune. And this new fortune is added to her status and her already big bank balance. And it makes her an incredibly formidable woman in Elizabethan society. And then she decides to showcase that power and wealth, as well as a fine taste and eye for the latest fashions, by building Hardwick Hall. I think it's important that we don't just define Bess by her husbands. They were an important factor in her wealth, yeah, but she didn't just sit back and enjoy her money. She wanted to make her money work for her. She was a smart business person who had lots of business ventures, and money came in from farming and mining. But she was also a bit like a dragon in Dragon's Den. She'd invest in others and then she'd want her cut. But she'd make sure that the people she invested in, they had enough land or property to sell if those businesses failed. So she'd get her money back. And just to add to this dimension of Bess as a shrewd business person, all the lead from the roof at Hardwick Hall came from Bess's own foundries, and the iron she needed came from the ironworks, and the wood she used came from trees on her estates. The stone came from her quarries. So Hardwick Hall is a little bit like a big advert for the stuff that Bess's land and businesses produce. So Bess's quarries and her foundries and her ironworks can sell these materials to others wanting to build the same sort of place and make her even more money.